What's going on, everybody? Culturedog Sam Hatch back with another Laserdisc video. We're going to do another Spotlight review. I've been trying to keep up with all the films as I watch them and do Spotlight reviews, but it takes a little bit extra work because I not only want to watch it, usually the first time I watch it is when I'm about to nap out or something on my old CRT tube TV that I've had since the 90s. But I also like to watch it again through my reference system on my SXRD projector and fire it up through that. So it takes a little bit of time to watch each film twice and everything like that, and do a little bit of ruminating, whatever. I mentioned with Air Force One, my last Spotlight video, I had picked this title up in that same batch from Rick Schlosser online, and this is a title that somehow I never saw when it came out in theaters. It came out in 1995. I believe this is a 1996 pressing. But it is a Brett Leonard flick, and Brett Leonard kind of came to fame with Lawnmower Man, and this is his film that followed up Hideaway, which was actually a pretty capable Dean Koontz adaptation. The special effects kind of derailed it. Brett Leonard was this visionary of visual effects, and Lawnmower Man highly depended on CGI as a kind of gimmick to get people into check out the film. And the CGI effects were more of a distraction in Hideaway. The rest of the film was actually a pretty solid enough thriller that they dated things, if anything. So I was probably writing this film off in my mind as I heard about it and I knew who had directed it. But I figured for $1 I should pick up the Laserdisc. It's a nice Pioneer disc from Paramount of Virtuosity, starring Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. Poor Russell Crowe, this is back before his star really escalated. He had been in this and Quick and the Dead and a few other things, but he didn't merit even inclusion anywhere on the cover. In fact, the cover's kind of cheesy. It's got this, this machine here that's very ill-formed and blown out, and it's very colorful, but Denzel, gets all the poster art there. And he plays pretty much Sylvester Stallone's character in Demolition Man. This is a great companion piece to that, too. One, I can't believe I never saw it, because this is just so 90s. I mean, this is like quintessential 90s sci-fi. It takes place in this kind of ill-defined future. I can't even remember if it says exactly what year it takes place in, but I just always assume it's the 90s until certain far futuristic elements come into play. But Denzel plays Parker Barnes, a cop who's pretty much just like John Spartan from Demolition Man. He had a run-in with a serial killer before that led in the deaths of some people, and he was sent away to prison for murder and is called in to help out in this new crime project where they have these virtual reality simulators. And within this world, which is total, 90s CG, but in a cool way. They're these giant, wall monitors wherein you can see this virtual reality world, and it's just like, if you ever seen any of those early, CG demo reels, it's always like, just abstract, kind of surrealistic imagery of Roman columns or chess pieces set against distorted like cloud and field imagery, that kind of nonsense, and but it really kind of taps into the feel of 90s CGI, so it even heightens the nostalgia factor. But within this realm, there's a bunch of different characters that have been designed, these virtual characters, including one named Sid 6.7, played by Russell Crowe, in a very kind of flamboyant fashion. He's kind of like the evil twin of Brad Pitt's character from Cool World. He's very fond of overly structured suits and bright colors, and it kind of is juxtaposed against Denzel's world, which is a little bit more drab because he's grieving and dealing with being in this weird prison too, with these strange cells that look like just like rice paper. I think they just ran out of money on the construction of that set. In fact, it looks like even some of the walls, cell walls, are bulging, like it's just really cheaply made, balsa wood or something like that. But when he's not in prison, he's William Forsythe is this guy who's kind of on his side, who knows he's a good cop at heart. Except for one like kind of weird portion of the film where he's just instantly convinced that everything they say against Parker Barnes is real, and then Kelly Lynch's character has to kind of prove otherwise. But yeah, it's set up as Denzel is sent into this virtual reality world, and he's trying to capture Sid 6.7. And Sid is this composite, sadistic, intelligent, and dangerous. This composite of multiple serial killer personalities. Which is a cute gimmick, but it's ultimately meaningless, because it's just like that whole, like, Freddy thing. Like, he's the son of 1,000 mad rapists or whatever. It's like, okay, so he's evil. Yeah. You could be equally evil being the son of, like, 57 mad rapists. And, he's got 600 composite serial killers. Well, guess what? He's one guy. Like, can all of those guys kill, the full amount of people that they wish to kill in one day? No, he's gonna kill probably the equal amount of people that he would were there, 5 serial killer personalities in his brain. But as viewers, we're just meant to go, whoa, 600 serial killers. That's so crazier than 12. But like the other kind of computer-related film, Brain Scan, which had a really, really over-the-top antagonist. The antagonist in this, Sid 6.7, is a lot of fun. Russell Crowe plays him so over the top, and you can see he's just eating up all the scenery and loving every minute of it. And early on, he employs a kind of strange relationship with one of his creators in order to use a nanite kind of shell for him to transport his personalities into the real world. And Kevin O'Connor plays a kind of horny tech who's fooled into thinking he's going to recreate a slutty virtual reality girl, but in fact lets loose Sid 6.7 in the real world. And yeah, Brett Leonard doesn't really overly rely on the CG. It does kind of pepper some little moments of actually cool moments throughout the film, and I appreciate it. I actually thought it was a cool concept too, that he's Sid is this kind of silicon-based life form, and that whenever he's damaged and needs to repair himself, he can actually use glass and any kind of glass around him as the medium to repair himself. That was pretty cool, and they have these kind of bluish tendrils that will come out of his body, and kind of like Tetsuo the Iron Man or Akira, one of those kind of things, or almost like a David Cronenberg type thing, but less mechanical. And it was pretty cool. That was a neat effect. And there's definitely some pop between Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe as the serial killer and the cop, and that have this weird kind of relationship where Sid, thinks he's cool and wants to set him free so he can frame him some more. Kelly Lynch is usually just like crying about her, possibly endangered daughter, played by Kelly Cuoco. Kaylee Cuoco you would not recognize from Big Bang Theory in this because she's really, really young. Louise Fletcher also shows up in there. William Fichtner also, again, plays a Weasley guy that everybody hates. It doesn't all necessarily hold together. It's very scattershot and episodic, but still, it's a whole lot of fun. There's a scene in a rave where Tracy Lords actually performs one of her songs from her techno album that she did, and stars as the kind of techno siren that enchants Sid 6.7 a little bit. And there's this great scene that's totally hokey and cheesy where Sid uses these bizarre sampling pods to create a symphony of pain from his tormented captives. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff where he falls in love with himself through media and creates a thing called Death TV, which pretty much foreshadows what we watch on TV on a regular basis now. Yeah, so it's a hot mess, but it's a great looking hot mess. The colors are very, very vibrant, especially Sid's wardrobe, and it's got a lot of dark kind of deep blacks and the nighttime shots. There's a lot of daytime Los Angeles-based stuff that looks pretty good too. Sometimes it's a little muted or washed out, but for the most part, really, really solid transfer. There was a couple of moments where, when I watched it on my projector, some of the backgrounds would get smeared a little bit during the motion, especially during the opening scene. There's a very interesting opening scene that's all set within the virtual world with a great Black Grape song that kicks off the soundtrack. And very, very colorful and kind of heightened in the terms of color and and design. And the soundtrack on this thing is really good. It's not as immersive as some AC3 soundtracks, but there's a lot of nice moments. It's actually a wide soundstage. Some of the music in some points had like little pinging sounds, that kind of thing. And I noticed they were coming far, far to the right of the soundstage. And there was moments where they were, enveloping you. There's some bits with Sid's multiple voices in one scene's coming from you behind, and there's a lot of surrounding insect life in the scene taking place at a cemetery at one bit. But yeah, I mean, overall, Denzel looks like he's taking a paycheck in this flick, and that's fine if he does. And Russell Crowe is more than up to the task of chewing up all the extra scenery, and it's a whole lot of fun. Again, it's pretty cool that it doesn't play the kind of intangible nature of an evil computer program, so that even if they are able to contain him or retract him from the real world, he can still exist in different incarnations and different versions. So that does a good job at keeping the kind of danger of the story progressing, even though if you've won one battle, there may still be a couple different versions of Sid or his world that you have to encounter and deal with as it goes on. So, not too shabby overall. I love it. I think it's a freaking hoot. And along with Demolition Man, this is going to be one of my go-to 90s action flicks. Probably going to do some double feature nights. Great score from Christopher Young, but killer soundtrack. I immediately had to get the CD soundtrack. It's got Peter Gabriel does this. Parker's kind of theme song, I guess, is Party Man by Peter Gabriel, co-written by Tori Amos. But there's some great stuff with Blondie, with members of Talking Heads. And the things I had on albums already, like Tracy Lords' album Control. There's a song from there. Juno Reactor, who also worked with Tracy Lords, have some stuff on the soundtrack. Lords of Acid is used a great effect in here. And yeah, it's just, Sid is such a character. I love after his symphony of pain is cut short and he's driving around to the streets and he's like, I will make a new symphony of collision, and starts crashing into everything. It's so cheesy that you have to totally love it. And I totally love it. And I can't believe I didn't see this back in 1995. But glad to have it on Laserdisc, and I'll be watching this on numerous occasions. Well, thanks for hanging out, and hopefully you had a fun time spinning through the world of Virtuosity with me. And we'll be back with some more Spotlight reviews and all sorts of other good stuff, including more of the Laserdisc Essentials video series. And thanks again for reaching out and all the kind words and everything, and commentary online. And it's cool getting to meet all the other Laserdisc fans out there, both people that have been into it since the 80s and people that are just getting into it now. So cheers. Have a good one.